Yeah, the cowboy hat is not out right now. My hair's a little bit long, my beard's a little long. My wife's going through some beauty school, and so I'm her test out model. So she wants me to grow my hair out and my beard, and so she can give me a cut and color multiple times.
I mean, that's pretty good right there. It's got to be said.
I was telling my wife, I was like, "Ah, I'm probably going to be doing some video stuff. I need to get a haircut." And she's like, "You dare not get a haircut." Like,
I
I
need
was like,
that experiment.
I need the long hair. I need to do, we're doing this and then we're doing that. And I was like, "Can I at least shave the beard?" She goes, "No, I need to do a trim. I need to do, this and that and a mustache." And I was like, "All right, well, looks like I look like a bum."
Yeah, I'm not looking so hot myself, so I wouldn't worry too much about that right now. Thankfully, I'm not on
My,
camera.
my wife's just like, your hair's like Bob Ross. Just tell everyone you're turning into Bob Ross."
So how do you want to start about this? Should we wait a couple minutes for people to kind of start trickling in?
um, I mean, I think we could probably start with introductions and stuff like that, as I'm sure not everybody knows each other. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm Original Sin. I'm the community manager for CNFT Tools, and I generally like look after Discord, and yeah, that's pretty much me in a nutshell right there. Robin.
Uh, so the position I'm in for Adanauts is it's a good question. I'm basically one of the core social media directors, and just to kind of like I have the free time to kind of explain to the community what this project is about. I I'd rather have Bourbon explain kind of more of the rules a little bit more comfortably, kind of, and explain, what came about the project and why he started the project. But for me as a person, I'd say I've been in the space for quite a while, and I've done a handful of collections myself and collaborations with a handful of artists all over the space, all over the world. Um, and I've been working with Bourbon on this project since October,
Hmm.
if not even a little bit earlier, maybe early October. And we've been working on it daily and a lot this year. And I'm very looking forward to presenting this project that we've been really putting a lot of energy into.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to demote you there, Bourbon.
No, you're
But
good.
yeah,
Perfect. Yeah, well, my name's Brian, also known as Bourbon. I'm the artist and also the owner of Adanauts. Um, a little bit about me is that I'm, pretty new in this space, pretty much since the beginning of October, September, and kind of just been head over heels in this space and pretty much given up, all the other spaces I was in. I was big into Binance, DeFi, and stuff like that. So, but I've been here and, just focusing on Adanauts. It's been evolving since October, like Robin said, and has been changing and tweaking here and there. But I think we finally have come down to what we're really wanting to accomplish. So, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
so what started the project off? Because I mean, it's been going for a long time now.
Yeah. So essentially, the way the project started, um, in the beginning of the space, I jumped in here. I was a big fan of Clay Nation, but at the time, ADA was like at close to $3, a token or a coin, and I just couldn't really afford a Clay Nation. So I was like, oh, I have so much clay in my art room that let me make my own clay version. So I made my own clay version. I had a whole bunch of Binance friends that weren't wanting to get into the NFT space. They didn't really like see the value in it. So I was like, hey, let me make you an avatar. So I made them their own, version of my clay piece, and they all loved it. I went around and shared to a couple people, and from then on, someone Lovelace reached out to me and was like, "Hey, this is exactly what we're kind of looking for a project. Is this something that you'd be interested in doing?" And then from then on, it's been that way since.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy ride since then, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's up and downs, and there's been a lot of changes. We actually had a whole project pretty much set up, a whole different clay project, and then I was told to kind of change paths, and so we scrapped that idea and moved on to a new one. So it's been a fun roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a thing for an artist to do, and you spent must have taken you a long time to get that far to then have to essentially start again.
I was a little salty at that time. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, what? I'm like 70% done, and we're changing total vision of everything, and it's like I was like, all right, well, I guess we'll do it. So,
So
but
yeah, I mean, I was having a look through and doing a bit of research on the project myself to prepare for this, and I was quite surprised at sort of like one thing that really caught my eye was the variation of the traits, as in the in-trait diversity.
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of traits.
that's something that being a collector in this space, and being a collector in general, I like collecting. I have so many different collections. I always like to look at what's unique or what's differentiates one project to another one. And one of my favorite projects is Space Buds, and the one thing I notice on Space Buds is that even though each character may have the same trait, let's say laughing or shy or whatnot, each character has a different uh, design. They don't all look the same. And then I notice like a lot of the projects going on now, let's say they have different characters or different shades of colors, the trait is still the same trait. It's just copied throughout all different things. So it's not nothing unique or different with each one. So I was thinking, well, how can I evolve this? How can I make it to the next level to where, I have a trait, but then have multiple, hidden rare. There's not. It's not like hidden rarities, but it's just like different aspects of within the trait to make it more diverse. So when you look on, CNFT tools, or if you look on, on a marketplace, you're not saying like, oh, all these characters have the same normal eyes. They all look the same. But with us, each character will have its own specific normal eye. So nothing will actually all look the same, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that blows my mind, especially when you look at sort of like the amount of time it must take to make all the clay models and everything like that. I
A
mean,
lot.
It's uh it's a bigger learning experience for myself because, I'm great at modeling. I'm great at, putting it out there, creating the characters and putting it there. The next evolution is, the photography, the lighting. And then the next evolution of that is all the Photoshop because I get all the photos and now I have to crop out all the images. By cropping out all the images, I take away all the shadows. And then it doesn't look good without the shadows, so I have to go back and add all the shadows back into all the layers in Photoshop. So it's just tedious.
Yep.
I mean,
And you upgraded your camera too, I think, right?
I got a new camera, or a new camera lens for my camera, and just kind of getting a new setup. But there's always things I can evolve to and grow into. So it's always a growing progression, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, I did get a new camera because one big concern I had was quality. A lot of the previous photos I was taking didn't really give me the best quality I was getting, and so I kind of waited for a while to get this new lens to make sure that the quality was there. Because I know a lot of people like to zoom in on the photos, so I want to make sure um, people get to enjoy all the high resolution of everything.
how much time do you? I mean, obviously you've spent many months on this, but sort of like how much time has been split between actually making the models and then like doing the stop animation and everything else that goes, and obviously all the video editing and the lighting, like you were saying.
So the creation I think took a long time just because I was thinking of new traits, different traits, things that weren't being used. You may can see. Let me see if I can post it into the into the chat here. But we have this. Let's see. Let me find if I can. Perfect. So I have this trait I came up with, an ice cream trait. I haven't really seen any trait out there that someone's eating ice cream, for the mouth.
Hmm.
And then going into that, I'm thinking, okay, well, what are all the different types of ice cream that people would want to, to enjoy? Instead of having just a regular ice cream cone, I wanted to do more than that. So I added all these. Each character has their own, ice cream trait, and so just thinking and to be creative and just being like, okay, what's the next one I want to create? Because it's pretty easy, for me, it's real easy for me to see something and recreate it. I can recreate things super easy, but to come up with things on the fly and to make something up and um, was the challenge. Now, pretty much all the modeling's done. Now the challenge is just the Photoshop, and that's just taking a lot longer than I thought it would take. So um,
Yeah.
probably
Yep.
about
Yep. Yep.
50-50 between the Photoshop and the molding. So if that's the right answer.
So, how many different base models do you have?
So we have 7 base models. So I'll give you guys a view. So this is our main character, Adam. Um, Fun little green guy. And then our remaining characters haven't been named yet. So we are actually going to be doing kind of a naming ceremony, kind of like a teaser release of all the different characters, and allowing the community to choose the name of the characters. But I'll kind of show you a little bit of the characters that we have right now. So we kind of have this orange character. We got this yellow character. Got a nice brown fellow, a pink guy, a purple guy, and this cool blue guy. So,
Yeah, I
Seven.
uh,
mean, just listening to you put them down, they're obviously substantial and everything like that. They're not like
They're hardened.
pliable clay, as it were.
no, yeah. So I use both. I use both the kind of the animation clay, and then I also use the uh, the polymer clay. A lot of the times when you're kind of using both, the polymer clay is great for having a mold. So a lot of the times when I'm actually building the traits and everything like that, this is kind of my canvas. So when I make the eyes, I make sure the eyes are they're fitting. They actually fit into the eye holes. You know,
Nice.
when I make the mouth, I make sure the mouth is actually fitting onto the piece. Because I don't want it to, if I like take a picture and then put it on, it looks all funky, maybe different shapes and all that. So I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure it's all consistent. So these are also my canvas as well. So,
I
and all
did
that.
notice that a little bit with Claymates because I have a few Claynations and like some of the layering, like the eyebrows and like some of the layers, it just you could just tell they're kind of like photoshopping those traits on. It just I'm hoping once they have like Snoop money, they're gonna really start upgrading their stuff. But I can tell those little things, and I think some of the audience can tell those things as well. And
I'll
we kind of want to go a little extra on the details.
absolutely, I'll say this, um, kind of, I got the whole sculpting, the modeling, all that down, but getting into the Photoshop and kind of learning and doing all the cropping, I give a million props to Clay Nation and kind of how they did everything.
For
It's
sure.
it's so much work and to try to get all these extra details in and um I'm just it's a fun it's been a fun road. I'll say that.
Oh yeah. Definitely one of my top favorite projects because I'm just Lena and Junes are such compassionate and such beautiful people in the space, and of course I'm such a Clay fan, so it's just a perfect combination.
I mean, I can't say they aren't a huge inspiration to this project. I wouldn't have started this project. I wouldn't have done any, probably wouldn't have been seen or been found without the Clay Nation project. That it was all inspired from them and kind of making my fan art and kind of going from there. I know with the previous project, there were some people that kind of felt like maybe there's some aspects that were too similar. So I was pretty much told, hey, let's change it and let's get really creative. So then I took that mindset and I kind of looked at it saying, hey, what are certain features that that people really look at? I went to school for psychology, so a pickup line in college was always like, hey, what's the first thing a guy sees in a girl? And the girl's always like, oh, X, Y, and Z, and you're like, no, it's your eyes. That's the first thing everyone sees in a person. So in this project, if focusing on that and the art and and this whole profile picture aspect, the eyes are super important. So I made these eyes super big so that people can just really admire and get lost in the eyes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really cool. We've had a question pop up asking for some inside information. Is it true there's going to be some animal Adanauts?
So I'm a huge fan of animals. I'm a big cat guy. If you know me, I have cat NFTs everywhere, and I collect cat NFTs. So with these Adanauts, there are going to be quite a few like kind of animal hybrid stuff. So animal mouths, animal traits, kind of things like that. So um, yeah, yeah. I guess there's let me see here. Like I have a couple cool claws. Let's see if
Nice.
I can. So
Oh
there's
wow, yeah.
Yeah, and
so
you
yeah,
gotta see the detail on these claws. Can you
Oh
show a
man.
so
photo in the AMA chat of the
yeah.
claws? There's like insane details. Like I sometimes have to like triple check these photos because I'm just like, how the heck did he make these look so realistic with clay?
Yeah.
I mean, man, dude, I can barely make a snowman. Like three balls layered on
I'm with
top of
you on
each other
that.
with
Drawing a
a
stick
freaking
figure's a
carrot.
challenge.
Seriously. Like, my gosh, these claws are probably the coolest. Look at this details here. Look at that. I mean, God. You get like the ridges in the
Jeez,
teeth and everything. Look at the
that's
wings.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's
look at this
those
stuff.
those claws are just insane, to be honest.
Mm,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Like,
And the gravity, the craters of the moons, and it's just. I mean, look at this. I'm blown away
yeah,
by your quality.
Thank you.
it, yeah.
It's definitely spending too much time. My wife's like, "Are you still working on those?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
It's
I want
worth
to put
it.
one more thing here."
Dude, the
So,
ridges in the wings of the dragon wings or whatever these are, like you could see the
Oh,
veins. You could see like it's just so top notch. I mean, man, I would have stopped so long before you would have gotten to that quality. I have no patience for that, but I can definitely appreciate it.
yes, for
thank
sure.
you. Yeah, that's
Like,
I wanted to bring kind of a little bit more detail in kind of the clay work, and that's what that's the difference between the types of clays, though. With the animation clay, sometimes you can't really get that type of detail with the polymer clay. With the polymer clay, you can really get the detail and kind of and be able to bake that to preserve it. Because if you kept using the animation clay, man, I'd be smooshing out all the details like left and right. So it's you gotta have
Sure.
to like play with both types of clay.
Huh, makes sense.
yeah. I mean, I'm just still blown away, to be honest.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's I really do appreciate that. Yeah, it's like we're kind of an art focused project. Um, Not really going to say like art based because we do have other things planned just other than just the art. We're it's going to be a collection of 7,777 characters. They're going to be algorithmically generated traits, kind of made with clay. Um, we have the seven unique characters. The interesting thing is each character will have its own trait or title. Sorry, and each title will be coincided with the character's outfit. So let's say the title like first responder. We have different outfits that are like a doctor's outfit or a nurse's outfit or a police officer's or a firefighter's. And let me throw that into the chat real quick too, so
I
people can
do
see
believe we're
that.
about to have 20 or 30 people's minds blown.
It's just so remarkable. I'm so proud of Bourbon and the work that he puts into it.
See if I can find the image. Let's see.
Yeah, I love the prototypes too.
Oh yeah, the prototypes came out fun. Let Let me see if I can find this. Sorry.
Yeah, Doc Bow just posted one of the pink models, which looks nuts. Can't quite.
There we go. Okay. So there I posted kind of the
Oh wow,
first responders.
So clean. Oh my
it's
God, I forgot
beautiful.
about
It's
these.
absolutely beautiful, man. Like,
Look at the details, even in the badges of the police officers, like every little thing.
and
Like,
doctors' pens
gosh,
and
Jesus.
So these characters have outfits that coincide with them. So these characters are going to be going on missions to try to gather certain unknown ingredients on this unknown planet to help create these formulas. So essentially, holders will be able to vote on what characters and what titles will be going into these areas to obtain these ingredient airdrops. So we're kind of doing a story as well included with all of this. So these characters will have these titles and have this whole storyline, and it kind of progresses to the next level too as well.
so how does that side of that run? Is that going to be through like a cartoon or or a video, or how's all that side of things gonna? How's the story gonna play out?
So that's a great question. So at the moment right now, I'm just a one person art team. With this project, my goal is to grow and expand, to help with more creators with this to hopefully progress into having a maybe a cartoon or animation or things like that. At this moment, we don't have a straightforward roadmap because with this space, anything can really change overnight. You know, one thing can happen, another thing can happen. Like just look at the other day, Snoop Dogg's now coming into the space and Clay
Hmm.
Nation. Anything can happen, and so by putting yourself into a roadmap, or I feel like sometimes you give out bad expectations to people, or you hit these roadmaps, and then people are like, "What's next?" So not really having a roadmap, kind of having a trajectory of what we want to do for this first season, kind of allowing us to grow into what could happen in the future. So personally, I would, I want to I would love to do an animation and get into that. Right now, we're just focusing on just the storyline, and so we have a sci-fi writer who we're working with to work with writing the story. But at the end of the day, the community is kind of picking the key components and what's going to be happening with the certain characters so that we can write the story along with that. And so it's kind of I'm really inspired by what is it, Stoner Cats on Ethereum. If you guys heard of that project.
I've heard of it.
Can,
I don't know too much about it myself.
yeah, can you give us a brief rundown on stoner cats? I mean, I know stoners, I know cats. I can put them together.
Yeah, so Stoner Cats is a project run by Mila Kunis and I think Ashton Kutcher.
Okay.
Um, they decided
Those are the cute couple from that '70s show, right?
exactly if you're under a rock. Um, those those
I
those
mean,
two
it's a global audience right now. Not everyone watches, Channel 26, the U or something, right? Like, we gotta
you're
let us
right. You're
know.
right. Well, they realized that they wanted to create a cartoon and they went to Netflix, they went to all these different media sources to be like, hey, we have a cartoon we want to create, an adult cartoon. And all these networks are like, who cares? We don't care about you. Even though they're like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, they could care less about what they have. So they said, well, how do we create a story that we can have a following and kind of write with? And so uh, they have this huge team with them that kind of helps them create this whole storyline and cartoon with these stoner cats and these characters, and people own these NFT characters. And so I felt really inspired with that, and kind of I don't know, wanted to take that model and that mindset and kind of um, and that really inspired me with this project.
Yeah, I mean it's just amazing the amount of thought that's gone in behind this. There's so many projects these days that I mean it's part of how the space is, where stuff gets rushed out and then everybody
Of
moves on to
course.
the next thing. Whereas there's very few projects that have seen this amount of preparation time.
What one person I've had I've had multiple talks with a lot of people. I've had people, some people in clay animation and big in the name, and they kind of really spoke to me and about this whole NFT aspect. It's essentially where everyone's building a brand. And how many brands did it take before Nike came around, or how many brands did it take before the Marvel comic series came around? So there were so many brands that failed, and the one thing I'm not gonna say who it is, but he told me that these NFT projects now that are coming out are essentially a startup of a multimedia company. Can you see a project turning into a cartoon? Can you see a project turning into a movie? Can you see a project turning into a brand? These are a physical aspect. These are important things. Can you see the team pushing it or wanting to push it to that next level? Because without that, then what are you really wanting to invest? What are you really investing in the NFT? So it kind of made me really think and kind of what I wanted to push this project and what is the possible future of this project.
So the question on everybody's mind is when mint? When mint and how much?
Yeah, so right now, the mint is just waiting until I get stuff done. So I'm not really trying to rush anything. We have an amazing dev team with Cyber Pickle. They're also the dev team for Space Ape Club. They came to rescue the Nitty Worlds when they had some issues with their minting. They're the dev team for Petbot. So I've been working with them since December, January, and they're an amazing team. Um, Sorry, my mind kind of went blank. Can you repeat that question?
When mint and how much?
Oh, um,
When
one minute. So with them, so I really want to make sure quality control is of the utmost. I've looked at some other, and talked with some other clay projects on other blockchains and kind of figuring out some quality control and what things they've seen and how important it is, especially when you're kind of doing the with the clay because there's so many different pieces that interlay with each other. But that's with any project. Um, so at this moment right now, once I get finished with all the details of the Photoshop and we get it over to my dev team, we'll probably have a nice review period, and we're looking around the end of April here for the mint. Now,
yeah.
now when it comes to the mint price, that hasn't been determined yet. I've recently allowed our Genesis, which is our whitelist. They've been with us since October. The people that are still here with us are our
We got
family.
some true fans, and I'm definitely appreciate it greatly. And they
They
definitely see the quality in the project, and they reach out to us privately, and they do their diligence, and they're on top of it. And I appreciate those type of people in the space.
they've been with us patiently. So I've recently, I kind of knew what I wanted the price to be, but I ultimately felt like I'd give it up to the hands of our whitelist holders to choose what the mint price for our whitelist will be, and the amount that they can mint, and that will also coincide into the public mint. So
I
they are still.
I was just going to charge one Astro bun.
So the decision hasn't been fully made yet. It's kind of been there, but I haven't put the voting up. I kind of wanted to wait a little bit more time so more people could trickle in to voice their opinion to see, because there's a lot of, hey, what's the market? What's this and that? I ultimately trust these my Genesis holders. I've worked with them so many hours, so many days, so many months that um, they've been in this market. They've seen the ups and downs. They've seen the trends. So I really have a lot of trust with them, and I feel like they'll make a great decision on the mint price for the
Yep.
project.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty amazing, cool way to do it, to be honest. And especially having a community that has seen the quality and hung around for that long. Because obviously, it's not like you can give daily updates when you're going to be doing this for the next 6 months.
It's been a fun challenge because the typical what a typical project does now is, hey, they finish the artwork, then they start they create a Twitter, then they start teasing the Twitter, then they say, "Hey, we'll have our Discord soon." Then everyone's like, "When Discord? When Discord?" And they have a Discord, and then they do a whitelist. It's all this, you know, Project Catalyst, Project Catalyst, Project
Yeah.
Catalyst, Project Catalyst until the mint. With us, it's been a little bit different to where it's like the Discord is already made. Hey, we found an artist. This is the work. And then it's like, here's progress, here's progress, here's progress. And then it's like, and then everyone's like, when's mint? It's hard to gather that hype because everything's been there's no like, specific
well,
catalyst.
well,
So it's
I
been fun.
think I think a lot of us are aware of Adanauts and the project. I think it's good to be on these AMAs and do more spaces, and we should once Bourbon has that once he has that massive monkey off his back, and we're actually finished fully with what he wants to do, and we can start actually putting our brains into the lore and kind of start spicing up the storyline, which we've spent a lot of time on the lore. We haven't even mentioned the lore really
Oh wow.
to other than just basically the basic careers. We've spent as much as he spends on details. We in the back we've been spending on lore as well because I find lore and characters is just as important as the details that you see in your eyes because you want to live and be entranced in these fantasy realms and worlds. Not everyone has a beautiful life, and some people just like to live in other people's worlds. And we want to create a nice storyline for you to appreciate and enjoy. And I think once we finalize the work, which is pretty close, we're going to start putting our energy into the lore. And I think that will also naturally draw a lot of eyeballs back into the space.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think law makes a difference between like and love. Like,
Certainly.
you can like an NFT and think it's really cool and everything like that, but when you have the whole backstory and everything like that, it turns into a much more personal connection.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
think I think that's the hardest part I think to find is how do you build that emotional attachment to a project? How do you build that emotional attachment to an NFT that you own? Um, and that's kind of what also went back into the trait building. Some of the I wanted to do like the ice cream. I was like, oh, I remember as a child I'd run after the ice cream truck, running down the street to get my SpongeBob pop. So I was like, all right, when I get this, I'm definitely making that SpongeBob pop, and it's like, oh, it's like a nostalgia overload for a lot of people. So it's just trying to figure out different ways and different ideas of how to make it more emotional attachment.
So just scrolling back, having a quick look at some questions that I missed earlier. What's going to be done with the physical pieces down the road? Are you going to keep hold of them, or are they going to perhaps be given
Mm.
away to the community? Or
All right.
Hmm.
So I have like so many eyes. Like I have eyes on eyes on eyes. So what I've decided what I've decided to do is
Can you show a photo of all your eyes? There's like a photo of like 300 eyes, I think.
let me see.
that would be pretty amazing, actually.
There's a lot of. I'm telling you, this guy doesn't like. He does a lot of work.
So I mean, there were multiple opportunities that I could have done. I could have, hey, I made a set of eyes, I made them green, and then I put them in Photoshop. I just cropped out certain aspects and then just changed the hue, and it's like boom, there we go. But I didn't think that was going to be. I just thought that was what everyone else does. So I was like, hey, how do I make it look a little bit different? And so I was like, well, I'll just make every character have their own set of eyes. So even the normal eyes or the squinting eyes and all this. Let's see.
Everybody's waiting with bated breath now.
So here's one photo of them.
Oh wow,
Patiently waiting. Oh my goodness!
that's crazy.
Look
So
at
yeah,
that.
that's just
That is
this is kind of
absolutely
some of it.
crazy.
So I have like a lot of them. Like what I'll be doing
Oh,
is
those ones in the middle with the green and the marble effect, like the
which
bloodshot
one?
type marble effect.
Oh yeah, so like I have so let me see. So like when I went to do so I did bloodshot eyes. So I made sure the eyes kind of were like bloodshot.
Yeah, I mean, there's
So
such a variety here as well. Like you can tell obviously tell the ones that are made for the same characters, but
let's
I mean
see.
they all give such different looks, quite
Yeah,
literally.
that was kind of exactly kind of what I wanted to go for. I didn't want when people even with the same set of eyes, like the same trait, each character has a different, set of eyes. So nothing looks the same. Everything is looks unique and different, and trying to capture that where everything doesn't look the same aspect.
Dude,
But
those black swirl eyes look super cool.
oh yeah, but what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be in Vegas for sure for CNFT Con. So I'll probably be if you're out there and you show me you have an Adanauts, probably give you an eye.
I mean, that's an offer right there.
So and
I
then
assume you don't have like 7,000 eyes, so I'm assuming first come, first serve.
first come first serve. My wife and I think someone else mentioned they were like, oh, I want to make keychains. So I was like, well, maybe I'll make a couple eyes and put like those keychain rings in them so that people can make keychains out of them. So
That'd be really cool.
fun, fun little things. So, but at the end of the day, who knows what the future has in store? There could be physical pieces, kind of like what Growing Pains has done. There could be so many different avenues. There's no I don't really want to put myself into a box. So kind of letting the project grow and progress and evolve. That's kind of my thing is letting it evolve and grow and adapt to the current climate.
Sorry, yeah, I'm just looking through for any more questions anybody has. I'm sure those pictures have triggered a few.
Yeah, please ask away. We're going to be at CNFT Con. We want this to not just be a flat out drop, of course, as he kind of spit a little bit of alpha. We're essentially going to create characters. They're going to give roles to those characters. They have things that they need to do to obtain certain things. Once they do it, they're able to do other things in a nutshell. But as we want to emphasize, this is a very heavily art based project, even though there is utility here.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're keeping some rather large things nicely under wraps, which we'll look forward to hearing when they come to fruition.
For
Hmm.
sure.
Absolutely. Well, let me
If
see.
yeah, any other questions? I love the community here. We got so many cool people in this space right now. I love it. We got Fractal, we got Gutierrez, Jay, we got Psych in the house. I see
Yeah, I mean,
Cardano
this is
Babe, we got Captain George, Blizz, AP, so many cool people that I know. Crypto Polly, Doc. I mean, gosh, so many cool people.
for sure. I mean, this is by far our largest turnout for an AMA so far.
It's
Like
Awesome.
just
we've
really
lost a few
appreciate
people, I
the
think,
support.
but it was literally screens for the people at one point.
Well, we got a quality project. I'm confident in that, and hopefully, we have a community that will enjoy it as well. Because I think Bourbon and I get really excited when the community likes what we have to offer.
For sure. I mean, one thing we haven't touched on, which is probably a little unfair to those people involved, is the other people on your team.
Please, yeah, Bourbon, take it away.
Yeah. So we have some other really great team members. We have Fettuccine is a part of the team. So he's kind of on the back end, kind of for kind of more of the marketing and sharing things of that. We have also with Cardano Robin, who is kind of my partner in crime. Anything I have questions about, or I need suggestions, or hey, who do I reach out to this, or I have this situation. He's my go-to guy, and I've been asking him. We have some great mods from Jacques Cat, G4, Isaac T, Dior, and Smashing Patty. All these guys have been in the space for so long. You guys probably have interacted with them with some either escrow stuff or in other projects. I know Isaac's in Yummies. I know Smashing is in Bizarre Stars and Veggie and then we also have Acidia, who's on our team, who's a 3D artist. He does the Happy Acid Dream Club, which is a very small but really creative project. Um, so that's kind of our core team. But we are, I am planning on looking to expand, especially with more artists on the team to really, kind of push the project to the next level.
For sure. I mean, how many people do you expect to have work coming on board with you on the artistic side in the future?
I mean, it's really hard to say. I've worked with I've been working really closely with the green screen guy who's worked on multiple puppet projects. And so just working with him and kind of getting understanding of hey, maybe I can't do everything myself and having to divvy off some certain tasks and artistic responsibilities to other people. So it's kind of hard to say how many would be added on because some people might have multiple skills in just one aspect. So I would love to add, a really strong core team, maybe like 3 or 4, to really to focus on the future and the progression. But at this time, it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, 3 or 4 people is still going to be a large ongoing commitment, which I'm sure anyone that, I mean, I'm sure nobody's feeling nervous at this point, but
No, it's personally I've been in the kind of working and sculpting and art, my entire life. My growing up, my family had a balloon art business. We did like balloon drops and balloon sculptures and centerpieces for corporate events, weddings, all this stuff. Right now, I have my own business. I do wax hands and plaster hands. Let me show you 1 second.
The suspense.
So I do like wax hands and plaster hands. So it's like hopefully this doesn't fall, but like
oh wow.
so yeah, I do all that too as well. So um, COVID hit, and that's kind of where hey, everyone has to evolve and change, and I feel like NFTs and this space is the renaissance for artists and sculptors and musicians and everything like that. So it was kind of a blessing, kind of COVID and kind of opening my minds and exploring different avenues.
That's cool. I mean, do you have like a home studio, or is it all done on the kitchen table, or?
So yeah, so I actually the room I'm in right now is we converted our bedroom into like kind of my art studio. Um, Both my wife and I are kind of just artist hobbyists and things like that. If you can look behind me, we have so many different half finished projects, and the thing above me is just another thing hanging above your head. So there's always another project to do here, and so we love just having kind of an art focused room and just coming in here. Luckily, we don't have any kids at the moment, so we can really, keep things in like an organized chaos, if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. So, is there any other questions from anyone? I see Brad's posting in chat. I don't believe he's joined us or is currently
Yeah,
listening.
Brad, how are you feeling, man? I don't
Yeah,
know if I've ever heard Brad talk before.
he has a great accent actually.
Rich.
It's kind of funny because theoretically mine should be stronger than his, but it's not. Um,
Mhm.
Actually, 19, it wasn't 1992, Doc. It's actually the 1996 Dream Team.
oh, I'm guessing
But
that's
close.
yeah.
The
I'm not.
Bulls, baby.
I mean, that's Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Kerr, Phil, the whole team. That was like the dream team.
That was a disappointment thing to see today, which is what is it, the fishbowl gang rug? Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
luckily I liquidated my shares like 2 days ago after calling a 75% loss, but I was like, I just don't have hopes for this project. And here we are.
yeah, it was a fishbowl gang.
that sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many rugs and scams going around at the minute. I mean, it's not always easy to tell the difference between a rug and a scam, to be honest. But
it's very
Don't
true.
even know don't even know if that one was going to be a rug. I feel like just some projects just fail bad, and then they just don't have the funds to keep going, and they just pull the plug like literally
yeah,
like a rug. And
I mean,
yeah, instead
I
of having yeah.
So that's the I've always wondered that where it's what's the line between a rug and a failed project?
Mm-hmm.
Because at what point, let's say you have a project and you've done everything you could do, but you're not gaining the traction. Do you just is it do you
well,
continue on? Is it, yeah, or do
Well,
you
if
what
you
do you
forget about it, I consider this like a soft rug.
yeah.
I
But
mean, I was in a project, Mutant Cheetah Gang, that I personally think it was a failed project. A lot of people calling it a rug and a scam. But I mean, the art was okay. It wasn't mind blowing or anything like that. But they seem to have a nice community, and there's still actually some hanging around like 3 4 weeks after this has gone down. But what happened was they launched their mint, and they just got hit by FUD from a couple of other projects that were minting around the same time. Um, Stirred up a lot of drama that was quite needless. It was supposed to be, I think it was supposed to be like a 5K mint, and they ended up selling like 1,000.
mm,
And then the open Discord chat, FUD went rampant throughout Discord chat, and then the owner basically they instantly stopped selling, and the owner of the project just fucked off.
jeez,
And it's like, well, you know, they went to bed as like, they did the worst possible thing. They opened Discord and went to bed without leaving a moderator on,
Ooh,
which
that
is pretty ridiculous. Um,
yeah.
and their plan was to come back in the morning and see how everything had gone. Well, they came back in the morning, saw the clusterfuck in chat, and saw that they hadn't sold any since chat had been reopened, and just left.
crazy.
But is that a rug? Is that a failed project? Is it a scam? It literally could be all three.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
I,
there's some projects that are clearly scams. Like flat
Yeah,
out, you right
yeah,
click their project, you paste it in another ecosystem, and you call it even they call it the same name,
yeah.
let alone call it a different time. And that's, I mean, there's so many levels, but
There's a
yeah.
lot
And then
of
there's
projects
cash
that
grabs.
have that happen.
There's cash grabs, low grade effort projects, high price tags. They just get what they can get, and then start up another project and do the same thing until people start catching on. There's so many different methods. So
yeah.
I'm tired of it. I've never liked it. I think people
That's
know me by now.
that's one thing I'm happy that now I'm the technical owner. I am the owner of this project. Um, and that's something that I really take pride in, that it's my artwork, it's my pretty much my blood sweat and my tears that I've been putting into this thing for months. It's my baby project, and I put my face on this project, and it's definitely going to be with me for a long time, and evolve with me, and that's what I really love about it, and that's sometimes what I feel like is missed in this space, that certain teams are just commissioning artists to do a project. The artist moves on, and then the team is kind of like, okay, where do we evolve? It's like, do we evolve with some kind of, we have to create some kind of utility, or it's like, do we evolve with more artwork from other artists for this? And it just kind of puts, I think, some projects into a sticky situation to where, hey, we don't really have the funds to pay for another artist. Where for me, it's like, I don't have to pay another artist, until like I have other help, it's just my time. So I feel like some projects aren't as flexible with certain things, or um, the longevity of the project is unknown.
Yeah, and obviously not everybody knows how to run a business,
Absolutely.
That's important.
which
And
is a
we're
very
both like,
overlooked part of it.
I mean, we're kind of like, this is not our professional, like, I mean, you see some people with teams of 10, 20 people putting out like games and these massive projects with these huge open promises. And there's just like, the roadmaps are like a year and a half, but realistically, it might be like 3 or 4 years. And it's just like, we're not going down that route by any means.
Yeah, I try to stay away from buzzwords. I don't want to like, oh, we're gonna have a coin and staking and X, Y, and Z, to where just like people want to hear these terms, these aspects,
Yeah,
to make people invest. But I feel like they're just false expectations that people give just to build false hype.
yeah. Enough
So
with the metaverse already, for fuck's sake.
exactly, where at the end of the day, it's like it's where I feel like projects shouldn't be focused on, hey, we need to create a metaverse. Maybe, hey, we want to create an avatar so that we can work with other, or already established metaverses, and we want our characters to be in there. So um, it's
Like build with someone else's metaverse. Just create the assets for it, essentially.
essentially, so it's, because I mean that's,
We
if it's,
do have. Did you talk about space time meta or anything?
no, I did not mention that. Or
Did we? Are we still working? Are we still planning on doing stuff like that, or are we just kind of like? Am I just drawing straws right now?
I personally got into as many metaverses, prestige known metaverses as possible on the Cardano network, because you never know what could happen in the future. So I want to make sure I have things planned ahead. So I have a little bit of everything for the future.
So yeah. So basically, we're diversifying metaverse assets in case we may need them later on in life for our own Adanauts ventures.
Yeah.
If that makes
So
sense.
yeah, I'm not putting all eggs in one basket for one or two projects. I'm kind of pretty diverse in them. So I just want to, if one pops off, or
And yeah,
they all talk with each other at the end of the, they all, at the end of the day, they all should be working with each other. So it should be uh, an all working ecosystem on Cardano.
yeah.
That would be nice. I
I'm
mean,
so happy with the chat,
the
man. We got some good energy today.
it's just unfortunate. I think that inevitably a lot of them aren't going to make it. Best intentions and everything like that, but there is going to be some big ones coming up soon, I think.
Yeah, it's again, it comes down to kind of what could the possibility in the future be, and kind of what does the team hold and all that. So it's the metaverse side of things is real interesting. I feel like there could be, is it the first mover, or is it the Facebook to the MySpace?
It could be a matter of both. I know some people are really excited to get into the metaverse, and other people are just getting ready to flip the idea of getting into the metaverse. And other people don't think it's going to even exist. So
I mean,
there's
I don't think it's going to exist in the way that people imagine it's going to exist.
Mhm.
It's not going to be this some kind of utopia where everyone can run around buying whatever they want from wherever they want with, no oversight and nothing like that. There's going to be KYC, there's going to be all sorts going on.
hmm
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's we'll see, we'll see. Too many. I've watched too much Black Mirror.
those first two series were crazy.
They hit the pin on the head.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see. I saw Robin started sharing in the chat some of my. I like to make fan art. I'm a degen too as well. I like to buy and sell projects. I get into a whole bunch of different projects as well, and I think that helps with our project. Kind of seeing what traits people like, what traits people hate. kind of getting an understanding of the buyer as well. Um, but it's yeah,
Do you
it's
do
been a
you have
fun
your
journey.
clay friends? I can't find your clay friends.
Yeah, let me see.
Everyone know clay friends is a project on Ethereum. I saw a couple of Cardano members, big clay friends. Actually, sorry, that sounds confusing. Big friends of clay mates were showing off this project called Clay Friends, but it's on Ethereum. And I saw Brrrbon made a really cool Clay Friends piece. It looked it looked like just I don't know. You can see it for yourself, but it was just like just so good. And he did you make Bright Pals clay too?
I did make a Bright Palace clay. Let me
Oh,
see.
nice. Yeah, dude. Yeah, you're just on fire.
So, is there going to be any music or sound involved with these at all?
Hmm. Yeah, just add another few weeks for us.
Well, you're doing everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have some ideas of what I can do. It's it's uh it's how much do I want to hurt myself in the
And
long run?
when you think music, you thinking like a theme melody for like certain careers or like just an overall theme? What are you thinking, Sin?
Well, either that or even perhaps like sound effects as they're creaking or groaning or bouncing or whatever it is you have them doing.
Oh, right, right. Kind of like how clay is. These won't be motioned. These
Okay.
won't be motioned. Yeah.
I'm still debating on doing some kind of motion for maybe for one of ones, but that hasn't been 100% determined yet.
That would be pretty cool. I don't think we've
That's
ever discussed that. I would leave it up to you, Bourbon, how that would work. Uh,
now the chat goes wild.
I'm just trying to figure
yeah.
out something that's because I personally like I love I personally like projects that don't put one of ones in there. Um,
So you
because
don't like one of ones usually.
I feel like it takes away from the project itself. Um, I feel
So,
like those
like all the focus being on those specific ones and the rest of them being seen as second tier when that's obviously far from the case.
correct. Like if you look at like Clay Nation or if you look at Space Buds, they don't I don't think they have any real one of ones. They may have super rare traits, but there's no true one of ones if that makes sense.
Hmm. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I would let the community decide. I would also let you ultimately decide before you even ask them what you want to choose
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work either way.
Yes. Well, let me
But at this
see.
moment, right now, we don't have it. They're static without music. But they're again, we have a storyline for them, and possibly, later on, as we develop the storyline, we might be able to do something like that down the road on a smaller scale, perhaps.
That'd be cool.
And that's the great thing is that the 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 project will progress. Like there's no plan of having another character drop. There's no plan of having like, oh well, we're coming out next season,
Yeah, no
7,727
seasonal
new
stuff, no
characters.
holiday stuff, no like collab this, collab that. Oh, we're gonna do every week a new collab. We're not gonna be doing stuff like that. Uh, but we might have like introductions of our verse with other verses, or recognize our verse in other verses, if that would make sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Uh,
Let me see. All right, so
Like,
I have
you don't want to oversaturate your own market.
yeah, absolutely. And we want to
correct,
build on the project, not just go horizontal.
Yeah.
correct. But I think but I
Oh
do
my
think
gosh, I don't even remember even seeing this one myself.
my
Is this your Bright Pals?
my toaster bright pal I have.
Toaster Bright Pals.
That's cool.
So
Um,
funny.
I mean, at the end of the day, I do think I don't think I think it's important for projects to, to maybe have companion items. Um, and I think Kind of like if you look at Clay Nation, like they're a good Charlotte. It's kind of like a companion item to their OG project. You look at Yummies, kind of their winter stuff is kind of more of a companion item. So kind of looking at more companion items and not really, hey, we're doing another mint for this or that, if that makes sense.
So, one interesting question that's just popped up, which I'm sure somebody is burning to have answered. What team is it on your cap?
Oh, I'm a huge American football fan, and I'm a huge Miami Dolphins fan. So
Got to get the important questions out there after all.
absolutely, absolutely. When it
Yeah.
comes to the football season, I'm a pretty dedicated fan. So Sundays are a pretty big day for me. Yeah. So here's my Clay friends.
Nice. I mean, again, the detail is just stunning. Even on my or on Discord's crappy streaming, that still looks amazing.
Let me get this guy.
I have so many photos here.
And here's the overexposed guy.
Yeah, I think I just sent it in the chat.
Yeah, I saw. I think I saw that one on Twitter with a couple of others, and it kind of blew my mind.
So those are kind of some of the fun things I've made.
Yeah, there's definitely some clear talent here, man. It's just, oh man, I cannot wait to see this coming through into fruition.
I was almost finished with this guy, but soon he'll be finished one day.
Oh, snippety snap!
Nice.
I know what that is. Immediately, you could just tell.
Yeah.
So,
Anyone take a guess? Uh-oh.
Go on, chat.
What is that gonna be?
so
What do you think, guys? Ooh, we got a question here too afterwards.
oh yeah. I know someone asked me. I think someone said, "How long does it take me to do kind of one of these things?" Um,
That was literally the question.
and so it takes me. It really depends on how much detail, but I'd like to say maybe between like 3 to 5, maybe 6 hours for each kind of figurine to make. Um,
Gee.
but it really depends, if I'm trying to make it, if I'm really trying to make it stand up, if I'm making it am I making it actually a statue? If I'm baking it, versus if I'm trying to make it into like to do some kind of function or animation. Um, yeah, I do have a lot of neck pain. I have to wear. I actually have a back brace I wear all day. So that
That's
my
quite serious.
yeah, like my chair's all lowered and stuff like that, so I don't really strain too much. And then I think someone said, "Love to see my scrap pile of clay." So fun thing I do with my scrap pile is when it gets quite large, I try to do something fun with it. So like one of my scrap piles, I try to make like some kind of like funky design. I have like
Ooh, nice. It's like
I have like
trippy.
yeah,
Yeah,
like a
that's
trippy
nice.
design or something. Most of the time it's
Is that
used for
clay?
what?
Is that clay?
Yeah, this is clay.
Yeah, it doesn't
Whoa.
like the way you're handling that. It doesn't. It
It doesn't
doesn't.
look
It
like
looks
that.
more
That was
like
a cloth. It was
paper,
like,
or like thick
yeah,
paper or
those
something.
are some
So I
cloth.
have
Don't crumple it up.
Yeah, or cloth, or yeah.
I have a pasta maker here. It's
Show it. Are you able to move the camera a little bit?
let's see.
Or
Here's a
yeah.
pasta maker I have right here. So I use this guy to mix
I think
clay a
it's
lot.
just out of camera.
Is it out of camera?
Just out of view, I think.
I'm seeing it.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm out of view. Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
It's wider here. I get it.
so I can
So cool.
I use that to mix clay because if I mix clay by hand, my hands get all colorful and then it smears and it just gets all over the place. So I like using that. And then if I need to get like a nice thin strip, or if I need to for detail, it's really nice to figure out what kind of thickness I can use the clay at.
Wow.
I mean, that's
But
Jeez,
crazy.
man.
but the
But I
majority
mean,
of the scrap clay usually goes towards fillers and stuff like that. So if I'm making like a body or something, I'll usually put the scrap clay in the center where it's not exposed.
Jeez.
it's.
I also, yep, go
Oh,
ahead.
no, I was just going to say, like, you know, sort of like, what other tricks do you use to? Because I mean, I wouldn't have, you know, a pasta maker, like for making clay models, like, you know, what other little tricks do you use?
Isopropyl alcohol. It's like how I said earlier, if you know you're when you use clay, you get residue on your fingers. It bleeds. So if I'm using a white, it'll bleed on the black pretty nicely. If I'm using red, it'll bleed on any other color. And so this guy helps with cleaning it up and making sure that you don't see the red on the green or the red on the blue or white on black.
Cool.
So
Yeah, it must go through a lot of that.
a decent amount. Yeah, like let's see. Like I have all the bodies for all my characters here.
Nice.
Kind of figuring out just different ways to do the different setups. I mean, I don't know. I feel like my wife says everything I do is unorthodox. So um, so I feel like everything I do is a little bit outside the norm.
I have a question for you. I noticed, and I was heard that clay is not really that easy to obtain or that cheap, and that's kind of why people make these such little figurines. And I noticed Clay Friends, they made like a huge, or like it was like almost a foot tall or something, or I don't know, 10 inches or something, and that gave them the ability to add more details. What are your thoughts on like stuff like that? And do you hope that like maybe once we do a nice drop that we'll have like a little bit more funds to kind of make a little bit more detailed pieces, or maybe do custom work for other people's projects and stuff like that?
Great question. Yeah, clay isn't cheap. It definitely adds up, especially if you're getting the baking kind. I think a little square like this is like $3 or $5, something like that. So, getting all the different colors and it all adds up. And then a lot of times you maybe you bake something and it cracks and breaks, and you're like, well, I got to do that all over again. Or if you make a mold, the mold breaks, and so it definitely adds up. And I think with more funding, I definitely want to be able to take something that's 5 or 6 inches and make it like a foot, and be able to really put in like you know multiple hours into each piece, and details and things like that. And that's what I love about about this. This project. It's going to be evolving and growing. So the clay will also be evolving and growing with the project. So I have a lot of plans for the future and what holds in it. And
Yeah.
yes, more funding will help with a lot more materials, better equipment, and
Oh yeah.
um,
More people.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, any other questions? But I think we're starting to get towards a natural close.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Seems a little quieter now. I think we did we see any questions in here? Let's see. I would love to see Bourbon's pile burned pile clay pile. What does he consider disqualifying? Can I buy those too? Okay.
Lots of people saying, "Take my money now, please."
Definitely.
There's a great question. What are the antidotes, and what are those used for?
Oh
So,
yeah, that's a good one.
so in the beginning of this project, um, there were kind of a whole bunch of these tokens and things given out. There were these Genesis pieces that were given out, but there was a lot of confusion with them. So Robin and I kind of really figured out a really great way um, to bring clarity to the Genesis pieces and also bring some value to some of the old tokens that were purchased back in the fall of 2021. So we've created the Genesis Antidote, which is essentially the whitelist into our project. We only have 300 whitelist members, and these guys and girls that are in this are our core members that have been with us since October, and they have a lot of say in the project, including what the mint price will be and all that. Um, there are ways to obtain this aspect through some compound items, which I will be giving away here in this AMA, some compound items and a Genesis antidote to one lucky winner. So
Oh wow, that's
um,
pretty huge.
we'll be giving some of that away, and but those are essentially our whitelist item, and our characters are going to be crafting these formulas throughout the storyline. And so the antidote is kind of one of the things they're going to be crafting it into. And there will be some kind of transformation of your Adenaut in the future, if that makes sense.
So kind of similar to, well, like a cross between a mutant serum and a whitelist and a vote in the project and
Yep,
pretty much
yep,
all of the above.
all of the above. So it's a serum to kind of to do some kind of transformation in the future, the whitelist, and also get some early voting, rights into the project. Um, and so overall, I think I didn't want it just to be a whitelist item. People are like, oh, I got a whitelist item, the whitelist is done. It's like, okay, what's my value now that I was someone in here early and whitelisted? So I wanted to make sure that carried on.
That's cool. I mean, it shows the love, especially for the people that have been around long enough to have a Genesis token.
That's what
Definitely.
I wanted to show. I really wanted to show that they've been with us through since October, and the ones that stuck with us have been super patient, and I ultimately wanted to reward them.
No, I think everybody will be very happy.
Maybe get some merch down the road. I think if we can get some official logos, maybe we, do a drop. People like us, maybe we get the vibes going. We'll play with that.
And with this project, it's heavily community focused. So the community is going to be choosing kind of how the story is going along. The community will be involved in how certain things go. The community will be involved in the minting price. The community is involved in choosing the characters' names. The community is going to be involved in so many aspects. I'm not saying that, I don't want this everyone to be like, oh, is this a DAO? Everyone, votes. I don't think there's a true DAO out there, but it's community focused. So that's what I really want it to be highlighted, that it's a community focused art project with some experiments.
Oh, that's very
Think
cool.
about AP's asking. I thought we said mint limit for whitelist. Would that be decided by the community, or is it
Correct.
capped to somewhere left for new people to enter?
So that's a great question. So right now, I think the Genesis are talking about, I think the cap per Genesis will be 10. I think each Genesis will be, but that's not fully in there. That they're still talking about that, and the vote hasn't happened. But I think everyone's kind of leaning towards 10. So if we have a total of 300 Genesis, and at 10, that's only going to be 3,000 reserved for the whitelist, and the remaining will be open to the public. So
Yeah.
I'm making sure that there won't be. I'm not allowing them to have more than 10 per person, um, per antidote, but there will be a public mint and an opportunity for people to get in then.
I mean, is it safe to assume that it'll be a full smart contract experience, or is it going to be an address drop?
At this moment right now, I think we're just going to be doing an address drop. We have certain things in place to. Um, Personally, I think a lot of people don't realize this, that in this space right now, since January, people who don't have a computer have been kind of screwed.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
they can't
definitely.
they can't really sell in the marketplaces. They can't really a lot of these new projects they're not able to mint. Um, and so, we were putting security measures in place and aspects like that. Um, but it'll probably be an address drop. We'll be probably doing a snapshot for our Genesis holders so that they can get they have like a window of opportunity to mint their whitelists. And then we're also looking at doing a reveal too as well. So you won't get you'll get an NFT, but it won't be the actual NFT until a couple days after the mint. We'll have that changeover.
Oh, okay, so everybody will like the both the Genesis and the public mint will have theirs revealed at the same time then.
Correct. Yeah. I think that's a very important thing that I think is not really being done. Maybe it's cost reason or X, Y, and Z, but I feel like it's a really fun experience to be like, okay, everyone doesn't know what they have it, and then it's like, oh, we have a reveal day, and I really like when that happens on Ethereum um, and the psychology behind it too as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's exciting watching mints come through on Pool PM, but again, not everybody can do that, and it gets mixed in with lots of other stuff that you're not necessarily so interested in. So, and it's
And
easy
and
to
I
miss
think
stuff.
and I think the some projects what happens and it's sometimes disappointing, but that's just how the market goes. But some people they mint a project, they realize they didn't get the rarest item or X, Y, and Z they wanted, and then they're like, okay, well, I don't see I don't want this anymore. Let me sell it for mint or under mint so I can just get rid of it. Um, and so with this kind of in place, it doesn't really give the opportunity of people to be like, oh, I didn't get the rare one. Let me just get rid of it right away. They kind of, you could be getting rid of, you know, a rarest one, something with wings or something really cool, so
No, that's very cool. I mean, I think a lot of people dispose straight away just so they can try and mint another one. Though
that's the other
obviously,
thing too.
I heard something about compound G's too. What was that about?
Yeah, so Compound G is uh is our market trading station, I guess you could say, that we are trading in old tokens from February or fall of 2021, and we're essentially trading those tokens in to allow people to gain Compound G, and if they gain 5 pieces of Compound G, they can then turn that in for an antidote. So kind of like I guess I guess we were the first people to kind of do this, maybe not in this space, but kind of like how everyone understands kind of how the rocket parts work for Boss Cat Rocket,
yeah. I
where
mean,
you get
I have
actually,
never
I
heard of this
don't, to be
project.
honest.
What is
I've
that?
stayed away from those guys.
I've never heard of this
most
project
definitely,
before.
but like just getting different parts and things like that and building it. We had that earlier back in October where we had to gain 5 Genesis pieces and make that into something. So I kind of stuck with that same concept and brought it over with the Compound G.
Okay.
We have a decent amount of moving parts. It does get a little bit confusing, but there is a deadline of on April 10th. So if you have some of these tokens, you can turn them in by that time. After that, they won't be redeemable. So we're going to be kind of moving on from that as a moving on that from that old chapter onto the next one. So it'd be a lot easier to and less confusing down the line.
So people have got a week to get their stuff together. Then.
Most dedicated members have already done it, so I'm super happy. But there's some people who are who might have joined us back in October and have lost the Discord and the mix of all the other hundreds of Discords everyone's in, and uh, and maybe not realizing it. So hopefully we're getting the name out there so people be like, oh yeah, I have a couple of these in my wallet. Let me go in and turn those in.
Did you make an official tweet about that, or is there some way you could pin that so we could all kind of subtweet that real quick? Maybe do one last hurrah for that so people don't
Yeah,
miss out.
I'll post that here a little bit later, and we'll get that shared again.
Yeah.
Yeah, those compound G's look awesome. I love the spot, the cork. The cork looks so cool.
Yeah, the compound G's were fun to make. If you can kind of if you see them in the chat, I kind of came up on accident on how I got this glowing effect. If you can kind of see they're kind of glowing.
Yeah.
I was playing around with some of the lighting, and this yellow lighting reflected off the green really cool, and I was like, oh dang, that looks awesome. So I played around with all the different lighting colors and all that to give a kind of a radioactive glow on all the different antidotes. So if you click that
Really
video,
loud.
you'll see all the different colors. Those are all actual. Those aren't like Photoshop. Those are actual like lighting colors I've done.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks
Yep.
amazing.
You could see the antidote photo. You can kind of see the background that he plays with there. It's like he has his whole setup there. It's super cool.
Yeah,
Let's
I
see
have a
this photo
couple.
right here.
I have a couple setups. I have a uh, like kind of like a makeshift, um, you know, room I make to take photos in. And then I have an above shot down as well. So I got a
Crazy.
couple setups.
Pretty good work for a spare bedroom.
Sure.
Yeah, my wife's like, "Oh, I have this bed here," and my wife's like, "All right, so when are we gonna get rid of the bed, and when's the next desk gonna be put here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, pretty soon." So just don't have it. I need more space. Just that's what I need.
Well, hopefully after the mint, you might be able to look at a studio.
Yeah, my wife's because that the issue is I have cats, so um,
Ooh. Yeah, with clay as well. I'm sure that must be frustrating.
this is my best friend. All the hairs I have to take off before everything, so it's def definitely getting into a studio that's like kind of clean and no cat hair is it would be very nice.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
What's the best project that you've worked done? Like which is your favorite like mash like Degen Tunes or Bright Pals or Clay Friends? Like what is your favorite? Overexposed.
The favorite one that I made was
Yeah, like
probably
maybe worked on and made, I'd say.
yeah. Um, I think the overexposed one was a lot of fun to make, um, because I wanted to replicate the image of where with the halo and the lighting and all that. So I was like, okay, how do I first of all, how do I make the character, and then how do I do all the lighting and all that effects? So I think that one was the most fun to make, as far as the whole process. Um, and probably my favorite one I have right now on my desk is that one. It looks so cool. It's the art of overexposed is so unique and different that
Uh-huh.
it's uh it's definitely a game changer, I think. So it's I
Oh
really
yeah.
like that one the most out of all of them.
So,
I didn't even know that was clay when I first saw it.
have you always been into sort of like clay modeling and stuff? Like, were you into like Warhammer and painting and stuff like that as well, or?
So I was growing up. I was really big into Magic the Gathering and Warhammer and doing all these the little models and painting with them. I did that for a while. I did a lot of oil painting and acrylic painting, um, and I've done like sculpting all the time. Like I've always done kind of different types of sculpting and stuff like that. The clay stuff my wife mostly had. She does a lot of beads and jewelry and all that. So she had so much clay and so much stuff in our art room that I was just like, well, it's just like kind of another medium that you just have to get used to and sculpt with. And I fell head over heels with clay and just like I really loved the what I could do with it and just kind of the texture. My wife's like looking at me. She's like, fuck, I spent hours trying to figure out how to do that, and you did it in 3 minutes. Like, how is that possible? So, it was quite natural. Um, but again, I've been using, I've been making little figurines for Halloween and Christmas, and usually that's what our gifts are for holidays. Is I make something. So I was also making these. Let me see. I was making like what's it like a not a birthday card, but like a think about a card you get sent in the mail, but instead of being a card, it was like kind of like clay. I was making like
Mm,
kind of
Oh
like
wow.
different like backgrounds and like a permanent card that people be able to put on like their piano or their desk or something like that.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Those,
So
that's what I would do for fun for holidays.
so what kind of process do you go through for choosing the different colours and things like that? Is it, is it entirely based on the clay, or sort of like, how much paint do you use, and how do you go about sort of like choosing that, those wings are going to be yellow and red, and the ice cream is going to look like these flavors, and
So that's what I love about clay is that, if you can look at my desk, I just have like little bits of clay everywhere, like little just random colors. And so I'm always color mashing and mixing and mixing all these different colors. And so I have like thousands of different colors that I'm like, oh, I need a darker green. And I get this, and I'm like, oh, it's not dark enough. Let me get this other one. And I just kind of play around with it. Personally, I really like the pastel colors that that projects have and stuff like that. So I wanted to make these aliens kind of resemble that a little bit. So that's kind of why I went with the more, the pastel bright colors
yeah.
and easy to look at and things like that.
I
But
like pastel colors personally. That's what I really got so drawn into Bright Pals and all that like Easter egg colors. I'm a sucker for colors. I don't know about anyone else here.
so I kind of saw the trend of that, and so that kind of helped me kind of decide on a little bit of the colors with that. And I really like how they popped. You could put a darker background, and they really shined in there. So that's one thing I liked. But yeah, the colors they just come. I start mixing, and I'm like, is that the right shade? And I just kind of play around with it and just figure in the right colors.
That's cool. I think there's somebody in your community asking when the next poker get together is. Sounds like you're like a good cards in the air time.
Yeah, so I think we played a quick game of poker yesterday with some members. It was fun. I wanted to get some more engagement with the community as in games. I'm a big gamer. I love cards. So I'm trying to find ways to engage with people. We'll probably do like a game night, like Thursday or Friday nights with the community, and do something fun with that.
That's cool. I'm sure everyone's going to be watching out for it.
Oh yeah, perfect.
When
Yeah,
Robin
so
ought.
when Robin not did we tease did we I thought I teased I think Mr. Ravel got in a little late. So I'm going to spam the chat again just to put a little I can't I have to I've seen one Robin version, right? I have some shades, I think. Is there any other traits that I might be surprised with?
Yeah, I put your beak in there.
Let's see here. Where's the one that I just had? I might have to just go scroll up in the chat. Here's my here's my antidote. I might as well post that while I have it.
I made a Robin prototype. Let's see.
Here it is. This is where I'm at. This one. Fahanat. So this so these shades kind of are vibing. Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
they're
this one.
amazing.
So I put the Robin one in there that I made.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
It's so dope. And he made a time lapse video of showing how he made it too.
Ooh, is that
Oh,
on
nice 100
Twitter
info.
by any chance?
Yeah, I'll post it in here real quick.
Yeah.
Let's see Robin do a bourbon knot. Oh, you wouldn't want to see me build anything very much unless it's backing bowls of
I,
bongs.
I, I think perhaps a bourbon with all the different hairstyles that your wife's going to give you over the next sort of like couple of months.
Cardano Babe said this Robin is more like a chicken. It's so skinny. This was when I was biking. Now I'm living in the NFT lifestyle and I'm eating chicken all the time.
Have it.
We need more broccoli and less chicken.
Where is it?
Is this the time lapse here? Someone posted? Doc?
No, I think that's the link to the law.
Well, let me see. I
Yes.
have it somewhere. No, that's the Charles Hoskinson. No, no. Sorry.
Just
Oh, here we go.
mumbling out spoilers as you go.
There we go.
So I'm guessing chat's going to go quiet for about 1 minute 33 seconds. Did you mention you were going to do a giveaway?
Yes, yes. I wanted to give away some Compound G and an Antidote to someone who was in here.
Oh, wow. That's pretty baller right there, actually. A compound and an antidote?
So I'm giving away.
That's pretty sweet.
We'll give away a couple Compound Gs, and then we'll give away one lucky person an Antidote.
Wow.
And just remember, if you have an antidote, you do not need a compound G. If you're a collector like me, you might have that need to want it. But unless you have an antidote, you do not need a compound G. But if you don't, you will need 5 compound Gs to trade in for 1 antidote. So that antidote is pretty heavy.
Definitely is.
And since I have an antidote, I just have that need to want compound Gs, even if I don't need it.
So how would you like to go about doing this? Unfortunately, the bot that we would usually use for giveaways isn't quite so suitable for this, and it does require Brad being around, which he's not.
No worries, no worries.
So we can easily do like a numbers game or something quick and easy like that, or we can do a quiz where perhaps you ask a question about the law.
Ooh.
Let me see. Yeah, I guess we can do some questions. I guess some questions and let me see. How many people do we have in here right now?
19, I think it's saying.
19. Okay.
Someone may have just left the room. As soon as I hear giveaways, they're like, all right, I'm out. The ratio is too good for me here.
Well, there's 19 including the 3 of us, so there's 16 people in voice that'll hear the question.
And if I get picked, you better believe I'm definitely sending out the love.
Well, I was gonna have I had a total of 10 compounds planned to give away. For this
Holy schmolies. All right, I'm taking a
That's-
compound if I win.
That's pretty nuts.
so I was gonna give away 10, but I think with everyone here, I might give one to everyone that's in this lobby right now.
Right, I've just taken a screenshot.
Yeah.
Holy schmolies. That's nice.
And maybe yeah, we might just give everyone in here a compound and maybe hold off on the antidote.
I mean, that's pretty flipping amazing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, chat's going wild. Lots of many thanks and lots of love for that one.
Put up that energy in the chat, folks.
Yeah,
Hell yeah. Let's go.
let's get those memes flying and those gifs flying.
So we'll give everyone in here who's in here a compound.
Baller, Bourbon. That's pretty baller.
Yeah.
And I think we've just found a way for even me to qualify. Fist pump there.
Let's
Oh,
do
yes.
this.
And then
But
ToolSin,
yeah.
how many people do you have on your team right now?
There's Brad, PRZ, myself, and I believe we have a couple of others working behind the scenes.
Okay. We'll talk something later.
Sounds good. Very much appreciated.
No problem. Well, I appreciate everything you guys do.
Oh yeah,
I personally use CNFT tools every single day, with
100%.
everything that I buy and sell. I'm always on there hunting or comparing, looking at the trait floor is probably one of the best tools additions you guys added on there, which I love. Um, and
Yeah.
then uh, and then I see you guys are also doing verification bots now. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. It's so when you register a wallet with us,
Hmm.
we can use that to give you your Discord roles in all the different servers that we support. So, for instance, if somebody's already got a Space Ape Club and then they came and bought, say, like a couple of NFTs from you, then we'd be able to have them automatically given the suitable roles in your Discord as they without having to re-register and go through all the palaver again.
Wow, that's game changing right there. I that's so it's all automatic. So if they've already had it set up and
Yeah,
the
completely
next another
automatic.
server has it. So how does a team or someone like a project get hooked up with that or get started with that?
Well, we have our own separate listing server, and we ask for the creators just to open a ticket, and then our team will take you through the process. We actually work individually with every single team, and the projects themselves have full sign off, but we do a lot of work to make sure that the rarities make sense and to make sure that the number one that you need to be number one is number one and not number three or number 35 or whatever, depending
Hmm.
on how the rarities end up working out. They also do a lot of help fixing metadata, as metadata is often a weak point in development teams. So, for instance, whether it's typos or some traits having none and others having no, things like that, we can sort all that and have everything make sense.
Oh yeah, I ran into quite the learning experience when we did the prototypes, sending those out. So I feel like every project goes through a learning curve when it comes to metadata at some point. So it's definitely important to test it out before you launch something. I'd like to say.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's important both for the project and for the customers as well. Um, a lot of people make a lot of judgments based on the quality of the metadata, and it's not just the artwork. And
I agree 1,000%. If I have a
Yep.
project and I see like, oh, I have all these traits, but then I look at the metadata and the metadata doesn't really explain the traits or explain
Hmm.
anything you have. Um,
yeah, or it's like
at that
head
point,
underscore one or something silly like that.
Yeah, there's no personal touch to it. Like it's
Yeah,
just like yeah, exactly. Like sunglasses too,
yeah,
brown sunglasses.
well, the
This
problem
is
with
a
that is
space theme. We can come up with so many cool ideas. And again, back to that lore, right? You want to immerse yourself in a project that really takes the time for every little detail, from the claw to the claw in the story, too. So.
yeah. I mean, just to mention something else that we have upcoming is a full wallet lookup. So you'll be able
mm,
to
Ooh.
see all the NFTs in all the wallets that you have registered with us, and we don't have a cap on the number of wallets you can register with us either. So if you have 100 NFTs spread over 100 different wallets, you'll be able to view them all in one place with their rarity rankings, assuming that those projects are listed with us, all in one place. And
that's
that's
nice.
quote unquote soon. Brad and PRZ don't like to give dates because stuff always happens and bugs pop up and everything. So, but yeah,
Time's ticking, Brad.
that's soon.
Mhm.
JK.
That sounds awesome. I like to keep organized and I have like 15 wallets with a whole project in one wallet and this and that. So that'd be really nice to keep to look at everything at once and not being like, okay, log out, log back in, log out,
Yeah,
log back in, all that.
yeah.
That's
You don't
awesome.
have to keep finding all the different receive addresses to plug into pool and all that sort of thing.
That's awesome. That's you guys are definitely changing the game and a key component in this CNFT space. I don't think you guys get the a lot of the recognition you guys should deserve. You guys do deserve.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Brad didn't really want to announce it, but some people have already noticed. We've rolled out the ability to see within your wallet view the NFTs that you have on sale as well. It's
Oh,
something
I
that's very, very beta right now, but it's there on the website.
I wanted to say I saw you guys sneak that out, and I hooked mine up, and it to be honest, it's like, if I have, 10 or 15 or 20 of a project, and I'm like, all right, which one is, if I have to sell a couple of them, and I'm like, all right, which one do I want to sell? Having that feature allowing me to see all the rankings there, to look at all the trait floors and all that, it makes it like 20 times easier, and that's the evolution and the adaptation you guys are doing is amazing. So I just keep that up.
Yeah, I mean, they have a big, extensive roadmap, which they don't really share with people for obvious reasons because things have to be done in certain orders and everything like that. But there's a big program of improvements coming.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, I'll probably be getting that verification set up in my server here for our Genesis holders with your tool.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm excited.
that comes
Yeah,
free with our package. So we have an all
awesome.
inclusive package that covers all the rankings and all the different sales bots and recent sales bots and the verification and everything like that.
You guys are making a true name for yourself.
Well,
It's awesome.
Brad will be pleased to hear the compliments, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. He's done a lot of work, and I see him in all these new projects coming out, and everyone's like, "Oh, when's CNFT tools? When's this? When's this?" And he's just right there and in the thick of things. So I love seeing him. I love seeing him in new projects and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, Brad sometimes calls me his bot, but honestly, I've never seen the guy sleep. Like seriously, I'll see him work. He'll say goodnight at like midnight, 1 o'clock, and then somebody will pop up with a question at 3 a.m. and like within 2 seconds he's replying to them, and it's
I
crazy. And then he's up again at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, my wife's never too happy with me where it's like in the middle of the night I'll wake up and look at my phone and be like, "Oh, I have a question to respond to." I'm responding to a question. My wife's like, "Can you just wait till like 4 more hours in the morning?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can, but this is a global thing, so people want to get a response as soon as possible. They don't want to wait 6 hours. So it's like it's just convenient to do that, but then you're just gonna kill yourself."
Yeah, I mean, I've been attached to Discord with an umbilical for the last year, but I've got my honeymoon coming up in a couple of weeks, so I think I'm going to have
Fun.
to like remove Discord from my phone and I don't know, take the graphics card out of my computer or something.
Well, that's what's with we have a trip planned to go to Spain and London here in the summer for my wife's cousin's wedding. So she's like, all right, when we go on this, you're not no Discord, nothing. Like I want you just to be here with us. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, I don't live too far from London, so you never know. I might have to come down for a beer.
Oh, absolutely. I'll definitely when I do take my trip, I'll be like I'll let people know, and hopefully we'll have a little get together.
Yeah, that sounds good. But yeah, any other questions people
Yes.
have?
Let's see here. Everyone's excited. I think the Compound G's got people riled up here.
Yeah.
Compound G's in the house. Do we still want to do giveaways? I mean, how do we know? Uh, I mean, people have come and gone, and there's a big elephant in that giveaway that I think a lot of us are looking at. The antidote, of course.
I think the deal was that everyone would get a compound G and the hold was put on the antidote.
And the what
Yeah,
was put on the antidote?
we'll probably
Uh,
just hold off on the antidote and just give
Oh,
everyone a
okay.
compliment.
Got you.
yeah.
Um,
Got you.
just because I don't want to have half the people not get anything. I want everyone to get some kind of reward. So
I mean,
maybe
yeah,
maybe
they sat here through 90 minutes of us chatting, so they must be fans.
I appreciate all of them. So
We got a good family. Again, I think organic growth is the best approach for anything if you really want sustainability and if you want a continuous project in the space. I think a lot of people were very understanding if you're at least transparent with them. I understand people make mistakes. There is mistakes. We're human. You got to understand this community is very personal. We're very
Yeah.
small. We're intimate. You need to understand that you can't just, do one of those 2 second runarounds and assume you're going to live very long in the space. So take that little bit of advice, and I appreciate all the time you've had for having us on here. We really greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, you've both been awesome, and we'll look forward to having you back in the future for sure. We're planning on doing AMAs on a fairly regular basis, so anytime you have something you feel worth sharing, feel free to give us a poke.
Yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you.
Let me see.
So many cool people in the space, guys. Shout out a couple of cool people. I see Captain George. I see Jay. I see PB and Clay, Ravel. Who else is in here? Cardano Babe, Captain George, AP, of course, Doc, Crypto Polly, Jazzy Fresh. I mean, come on. There's so many. And there's like probably ten other people that I don't really know yet. Iraq, Daniel Wiggins, I see here and there. Man, I'm
Yeah,
just so happy for all of you coming in to show support. We appreciate it so much.
I got to give a
Absolutely. And I
shout
think
out to NFT Potato as well. He's been a toolhead from the start, and much love for that guy
Awesome.
too.
perfect. And
Love
then
it.
I
Love it.
think Attitude asked a question I couldn't ask. He said something, I can wait a day for an answer. I couldn't find his question. But
Attitude. We can probably quick search it on
Yeah,
the
I'm on
message
it.
here.
I didn't see one. So
We'll just switch it by name.
very feature to list assets.
He's typing.
Okay.
Thanks, Cardano Babe. Hit like.
Oh, just generic comment. Okay. No worries.
And make
Well,
sure everyone shares out in the space today on Twitter that this is their last round to upgrade their older promos to get either a Compound G or an Antidote. Last call, and hopefully everyone tells their friends so they don't get caught with old promo stuff.
yes.
But old promo stuff is tomorrow's collector's items, so don't feel too bad if you're not able to get
Sure,
it completely sorted out. Because 5 years
certainly.
time, who knows, right?
Yep,
Exactly.
yeah. I like to collect. You know what I mean?
It's very true. Very true. Never know. A billion ADA.
But yeah, again, thanks to you both very much for coming on, and I'll definitely take the take more time to look into the Adanauts Discord server.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate
Thank you.
everything you've done here today and having us on for our first AMA. We'll probably be having a lot more to come. And I want to thank Robin for being my side hand man here. So
Oh yeah. It's a family, man. I mean, sure, I put a lot of time. I have a lot of time because I see the quality of Bourbon. I see the compassion and the work
Yeah,
that he's putting into this project. And I see a lot of people in the space that say they do. They say they have a lot of time. They say they're going to commit, and constantly I see people not doing what they try to do. And I'm honored to uh, be able to kind of help him steer the ship,
yeah,
but he's really the captain for sure, and I'm happy to help him open the sails and point it in the direction he wants it to go.
well, every captain wouldn't be able to go anywhere without the ship's engineer. So someone's gotta put the coal into the furnace.
yeah. Good people working with good people.
Absolutely. Well, I think this is a good ending spot here.
Yeah,
Um, I've taken some screenshots of the people in this lobby, and I'll post something into my in our Discord, and we'll get some rewards sent out.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so join Adanauts Discord if you are in this server and you're not in that server. Join the Adanauts server and claim your Compound G. We screenshotted, so
Yeah,
I mean you could pretend to say you were here, but I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And don't leave it 6 weeks.
for sure.
Perfect. Awesome.
This is pretty good, man.
Yeah. So
Thanks,
yeah,
Chief, for posting that.
yeah,
Oh,
and
yes.
much love for the giveaway for everybody. Much love for that one.
No, no worries at all. I appreciate again the
Yeah,
AMA, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what we have coming.
and I would say a simple share and retweet when you do get your Compound G, just to kind of, at least I'd say, just kind of share it out so people
Yeah,
can envy you and also learn about the project potentially.
definitely. Like, tell all your friends because they'll be happy that you did.
And we would be happy to. We appreciate it. We
Yeah.
appreciate the time. And again, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us privately or just come out in the server. We'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, come out and
And
engage. We'll have our teasers here with our remaining characters, and we'll actually have the naming ceremony, so the community will be able to choose the names of these characters. So I thought it'd be a really cool trait to have, where let's say you were the one who named this character. Well, throughout the whole project, you can say, "Hey, I was the one who came up with the name for this guy." So I feel like that's a rewarding thing for someone to have. So
yeah, I mean, but both for a single person as a community, I think, which is again the entire reason that we're all here.
absolutely.
And remember, if we see you at CNFTCon, you might get an eye if you own if you own an Adanot. Is that correct?
Yep. So if you own an Adanaut and you see me, I'll probably be looking a little bit cleaner cut with a nice no beard at that time.
It's
Um,
up to the wife, I bet.
it's well, the wife hates. She loves my jawline. She hates this beard, but she's like, "Hey, we're growing it out because I need to do all this for her qualifiers." So, but at that time, yeah, I'll be walking around with a bag, and if you see me, and I'll give you an eye for a treat.
Sounds awesome. Well,
This
thank
is
you
so
again,
cool,
guys,
man.
and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Perfect. Well, everyone have a great evening, great night, and a great weekend.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
See you, buddy.
Cheerio.